we're back to our series on the Lego modulars and converting them to our take on the MILS concept while also doing some improvements along the way. Today we're looking at the Town Hall from 2012, 2,766 pieces. Now, we started with the most recent modular in the series, the Tudor Corner that came out this year, and we were working backwards. This is the first one, 2012, of the series. I had not originally bought this when it came out in 2012. I can't remember why, and I regretted it since. What happened was last year then, I parted this out, had about probably 3/4 of the pieces already from various other things, projects over the years, but then I was able to acquire through Bricklink and a few other places some of the rest of the parts that we needed to build this. So this one is just a little bit different than the ones we've done so far in this series. Number one, it already has a MILS plate on it. Now I'm going to redo it because since I built this last year, I've kind of rethought how I wanted to do the MILS plates. So I'm going to do it a little bit differently. I think we put a little too many pieces in this original MILS that we did for this. So again, going to take that off and kind of going for the same style that we've done on the other ones up till now in the series. The other thing we did, you'll notice I changed the year here. I forget what the original year was on the Town Hall, but this is my birth year. Going along with wanting to add kind of my flair to some of these buildings as we are going through. So as far as other updates I want to make to this building, I've been thinking a lot about this, and this is going to be pretty involved. So looking forward to showing you this as we get into the video. One thing that I don't think has aged very well with this set since 2012, this is the only modular, I believe, that has a built-in elevator. Okay. And for when it came out in 2012, you know, it was pretty cool. But I don't think it's aged very well. And again, I've been trying to, as I'm going through these, I've been trying to modernize these buildings a little bit here and there as we go. As we're getting further back in the series, again, this is 2012. You can see, I mean, this is a beautiful building, but it's still pretty blocky compared to some of the more modern buildings like the Tudor Corner that just came out. So, but I keep going back to that elevator, and I think there's an opportunity to change it and make it just a traditional staircase like are in every other modular. Now we're gonna have to do some pretty major changes to the back of this building, this back corner where the elevator is, but I'm gonna take you along for the ride as we examine that and maybe a few other enhancements to the set as we go. Now the immediate problem you run into with the idea of converting this elevator shaft to a staircase is just having the room to be able to build some stairs. This shaft is a 6-stud square, and that's going to be too tight to be able to do a staircase in that's going to needs to go vertical. You just need some more space. So two options you could do here. You could extend out the back of the building. Not sure if I want to do that just because I think that might be pretty parts intensive. But if you look on the inside of the building here, one thing, and again, this is an older modular, there is some dead space that I think we can reclaim at the front here on the ground floor. Also on this floor, a lot of dead space right here. And then you get into the third floor, and we can move some of the furniture around, but there's also some dead space here. So my initial thought here is we're going to take the elevator shaft and extend it out 2 or 3 blocks. I'm not sure quite yet how much, but that's the general idea we're going to approach this conversion from an elevator to a staircase. By the way, I did just notice that we got the floors reversed here. There's the second floor. Here is the third floor. Here we have one of our standard MILS plates, matches what we've been doing in the rest of this series where we're rebuilding all the modulars. Problem here though, we've already put this on a MILS plate and it's a lot tougher to take off because it doesn't have flexibility that a base plate does. So you need to do a little bit extra work here to kind of peel that off as we're getting ready to transfer it onto the MILS. So as we're moving the foundation and the sidewalk, one thing we are adjusting, we're taking those Technic pieces out of the bottom level of the foundation. Again, you don't need those anymore because if you're going to connect these, we're going to use those pins that I built into the MILS plate. Now I want to talk about a rather large aesthetic change I want to make to this build. I've never liked the tan color that's used on the steps leading up to the front door. And it's also used as an accent elsewhere around the outside of the building. Just looks a little dated to me. So I've got all of these pieces also in a dark tan. So as we're rebuilding here, we're going to replace the regular tan on the steps there, and then those accents around the windows and a few other places with dark tan. And we're just going to do that as we're rebuilding here and get to the end, and we'll decide if we like that or not. Also going to carry that change through to the inside, including the floor of the amphitheater on the inside of the building on this ground floor. Used to be a regular tan, but again, we're going to make that dark tan. I like that look initially. We'll see if that grows on us. Now we're going to start working on replacing the elevator with the stair. And to get there, we need a little bigger space, which means we're completely tearing up this back corner of the build. So you rebuild the foundation a little bit. Now we're to the point, I'm just going to rough in some stairs with some basic blocks here. It's not going to look like this long term, but this gives me an idea of the spacing I need to do to be able to fit 2 levels of stairs in here. You need 2 levels because this first floor is roughly 12 bricks tall. And what further complicates this is you got to be able to get the stairs to not only start at that on the ground floor where that door is, but also to end at the right level on the next floor. So here is the finished ground floor with the stairwell. It is a little tight, I will say that, but overall, I think it works out just fine. You can see we match the colors on the inside. I think the only drawback I can see is the back of the building. It's very plain, but I've got an idea for that. And you'll see here, just adding a couple of snot bricks here allows us to take these green leaf pieces and fairly quickly and easily take a boring gray wall and cover it with some vegetation, make it a little bit more interesting visually. Just like that. Now it's time to work on the second floor, which you can see here we've already torn apart. Now the trick you're going to have here is building the first step in the next level of the staircase into this frame, and then we'll build from there. So we put that on there, and you can see when I put the floor on, if I can get it to line up right, there we go. And then, so you can see that's the first step coming up. Now we'll just continue that pattern right up the whole building. Actually, after going a couple levels up here, realize we do need to add one more to the top of this stairwell. So we're just adding a couple blocks in here and then add another. Actually, the first step's going to be right there. But the way we built this, see, it's still a floor pops right up. And that landing there is now exactly level with the door. And we are ready to keep going. And away we go. And really the only challenge here was to hide the supports for the stairs so that the outside of the building stayed dark orange. You don't see any of those gray pieces from the stairs sticking out there. It took me a minute to get that figured out, but I think we ended up pretty good. Now you can see the second level is complete, and this was relatively painless. You can see we had to bring the door out just 2 studs here, but there's so much dead space in this floor, it didn't really matter. So now we have one more floor to do, which I don't think is going to be that difficult. And I'm not going to put stairs through this. I'm going to keep the ladder that's in here. The only concern I have, again, we're going to have to bring this out a couple of studs. It's going to take some more dark orange pieces. This is my stash of extra dark orange pieces from other projects. And I already dipped into this on the earlier floor. So it's going to be interesting to see if we have enough to do this. So here we go, taking the third floor apart, and then we're going to rebuild it, expanding again on that elevator shaft by a couple studs, making it a staircase. And this one goes together a lot easier just because we're not putting stairs in there. We're just going to leave the ladder going to the roof that was in the original. And as feared, we did run low on dark orange pieces. Not so much, I had plenty of 1x2 bricks, but there came to a point where there was some odd numbered stud holes here, and we just didn't have any 1x1s or 1x3s left. So what I did was improvised and went, and actually I found a few snot pieces, 1x1 snot pieces that will work just fine as well. So here we go. Here's the third floor complete. One more detail to finish up here. We did take all of the tan accents and switched them out for dark tan along the windows and other pieces along the front of the building. And I do like that a little bit better. I think it looks better than the tan, but love to hear what you guys think about it. So here's our finished, upgraded town hall with a few aesthetic changes, swapping out the tan for the dark tan here as an accent color. Also, we changed the year, and for a separate video I done previously about that, check out the comments. I'm going to put the link in there. And then on the back, there's no longer that notch down the side that operated the old elevator. Elevator's gone, and now there's a stairwell snaking its way down through the building to match our other modulars. So love to hear what you guys think about our progress on this set.